We're back, everybody. Welcome back to the new episode of Bridges and Beaches. We had to take last week off. We had some stuff we had to handle. But we're back now. And as you can see, I'm in my backyard. That is because on Monday, I decided to have a new HVAC system installed. And work is ongoing. They're doing it really quick, though. They will have completed this in 2 days. They started yesterday. But it is a new AC, new furnace, removing my asbestos ducts, replacing it with new ducts, and moving my furnace to the attic from inside the house.
So what's the problem with asbestos?
I've heard that it's good if you chew on it.
Yeah,
but it wasn't the chewable kind.
Chew on it, inhale it, all those things. Yep.
Yeah. So I was trying to do all of them at once, which I felt like I was drowning. So I just felt like just get rid of it instead. But it is very hot here today. It's 80 in the backyard of the shade. It says it's going to be 97. So we'll see how this recording goes. I have the fan on the camera. Hopefully that will keep it good. But we're just going to have to
worst
shoot from
case,
the hip here and see how it
if you
goes.
drop, I'll handle it. It's fine. I'll take it.
You just said just go solo from here on out.
Yeah, it's fine.
5th episode, he's going solo already.
There you go. That's how you do it. Backstab early before people get too big. That's the thing.
That is the truth there. Yeah, I think that's what the One Direction, I think that's how they did it.
They did.
So,
I'm not too familiar with that.
Yeah. So what's going on, bud? I was, weren't you in Chicago or something?
I was in Chicago. It was a lovely sunny day in Chicago. It's nice. I actually typically when I go there for business, so I slip around, the Loop area, the River North.
Yeah. That's the tourist area. I'm not going to lie. I like it. I like the Loop.
It's nice.
Big Loop guy.
It's cool. It's nice. It's a fun city. But this time I kind of took a different angle and I went and stayed around Lincoln Park, which was pretty cool. So it was nice. I had deep dish pizza for the first time in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what did you think of it? Because I'm a New York pizza guy. I like the thin, big slices that's greasy. I am not a single slice deep dish guy. What did you think of it?
I will say this. I think it was a pizza, and a lot of people add it's not pizza, it's a pie. It was a pizza. But, in Chicago, you could do better. Yeah.
So I guess essentially, there's probably people that will hate this, but that's okay. It's just not me. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
And I'm allowed to like what I like. And I personally like New York style pizza. I like the Neapolitan style too.
No.
Wood fire crust.
No. If I hold a slice and it falls down and drips, that's a foul too.
Really?
Because I think what I love about New York pizza is that it's thin.
You know
it's
how
also
you can
stable.
stop that?
You just hold it.
Yeah, but you got to fold it still. I'm a big folded
you have to,
hot dog guy.
Of course, you have to fold. Then you have a sandwich, pizza sandwich. You have to. I agree, folding. But with Neapolitan, you folding, and it's only crust, and then it's like a soup in the middle. Which again, it's pizza. I'll have pizza any day of the week.
When you come out here, we'll go to the Neapolitan place.
Yes, I will come out soon, and we're going to record an episode 02 live, which will be like live.
We're going to do it in person.
In person. So this is live, but yeah, you know what.
So a little bit like what happened to everybody for last week is it was Payment Said was here. So I had stuff I had to do with the obligations with that. And then also I do have a quote live studio in my house that can be used. And a company had rented that out to be used, including my cameras and my lights and those sorts of things. So they used it for their own show. I did record one of my other show in there. Thought it went pretty well.
That's awesome.
I am thankful that I record 2 sets of backup audio when I do the live shows, because my guest mic must have had issues, and I was using SM7Bs.
So you have a lapel mic, and this like as a.
I have a hidden DJI2, and then I have a Rode microphone that sits on the cold shoe on top of this one. I'm not using it right now, so we've got one shot to do it here.
Well,
but
it's fine, I'm guessing.
But when I do the live, because you only get it once, it's a little harder because people fly out. I try to triple down and just make sure. And it did come in handy. I think it sounds great. Cameras look good. So excited to do more. In person is just so much more personal.
Yes, and I also think we're used to it by now, but even the flow of the conversation where like someone needs to shut up and then the other was talking and you can pick up on like body language cues. So there's a lot of things that would just be better in person. And we'll probably also have our first guest in one of those episodes.
Yeah, we'll see who that'll be.
Yeah, I know that, but we'll see.
I know who it'll be too. And she's coming to Mag now too, so excited about that.
That is very true.
Yeah, what's new, bud? What's new?
What's new? So, my daughter is 2 years old. She had her birthday was yesterday.
Oh,
That's
happy birthday
exciting.
to her.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
To celebrate, she developed a 102 fever for the past few days. So we're just trying to just work with
That's
that.
what children
That's
do.
That's what they
Children
do.
pull the sickness out of thin air, man.
Yes,
Out of thin air.
That's the thing. It's not a thin air. We had something going on like between us, and then she picked up on that, and probably her immune system is not as good as ours, so it immediately.
You got to rub her in the dirt, man. Have you tried rubbing her in the dirt?
I have, not that type of podcast. Though,
Okay.
but yeah. No, she's pretty good, and she's doing fine. Like it's just a lot, and to be honest, she might wake up during this episode, and then we need to take a small break. But maybe not. Yeah,
it happens. We'll get it done. We only got to hit 20 to 40 minutes.
That's
we can get it
all
done.
we gotta hit. That's all we gotta hit. So I saw on the gram that you had a nice event going on yesterday. What'd you do? What'd you guys do?
So I took my team. So, we should talk about this a little bit, actually, because
Okay.
I think this would be good content. So I took my team to the Angels game.
First of all, Jordan, this is a personal podcast. No one knows what your team is. If you work for
Don't worry
a tech
about it.
company,
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. From my day job, I have staff, and they do a lot of nice things that make my life very easy. So I like to reward them with more than a pizza party. I like to take them off-site once a quarter. And I have a little bit of budget for that. Now we do have to get creative because it is a fixed amount of budget.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm fortunate enough that I have some friends that work for MLB, and they got us in touch with the Angels, and we were able to get my staff to go to an Angels game. Got us a nice reservation at the brewery that's inside there before the game, so we could have lunch, have some drinks, and then go to our seats. Seats were great in the shade because it is 100 degrees here right now in Anaheim.
Who won?
I did not stay all the way to the end, but it was not looking good. I think Tampa Bay beat them.
What I love about baseball is that it doesn't matter what happens in the game. It just doesn't matter.
I go more for the social aspect.
Exactly.
So the Angel Stadium is not the world's nicest stadium, but they've done a really good job of making it very social. So they have multiple zones, restaurants, even a arcade that's in there, free to play arcade.
That is fun.
Different observation decks. So it's not like a cookie cutter clean stadium. There's different zones essentially. And it's old. It is an old stadium. And I just enjoy it. It's pretty cheap to go to. It's $17 to go to a game during the week. It was a day game, which was something I wanted. So it would be easier for us to get in and out. $20 to park. Easy. And then it was good. So let's talk about this because we just lost an employee, not on my team, but on another team that's adjacent to my team that I think is a world-class top tier employee. And it's he's having some struggles with his management chain. And I manage my staff the way that I want to be managed. So I do what it boils down to essentially servant leadership. So I exist in my role to make sure that my team has the things they need to get their job done at the end of the day. So my whole job is to make sure that they have the tools and there's no blockers. And if there's a blocker, they come to me, and it's my job to be the bad guy with the rest of the company to get it done.
Well,
now,
I had a leader define it as provide air coverage. So you send them away to do their
sounds
thing.
like that person plays a lot of Call of Duty or something.
Yeah, I mean, it might be. But I like that because essentially your team has goals and targets, whatever they may be, KPIs, and they need to do whatever they need to do it.
So, and I'm responsible for the overall team goals.
Yeah.
Now they have their individual pieces and their goals that are inside those goals, nested. But at the end of the day, this is how I always look at it from a management perspective: is my success should be my team's success. So this is where I think the other guy got frustrated with his manager. And every company has these. It's not, I'm not talking anything bad about my day job because it's not it's just, there's anomalies in any company.
It's people. It's people.
And sometimes personalities just don't mesh. But I think that obviously communication transparency is a very big thing, to talk about how you are fitting into the bigger piece. But with asking for support and giving support are different things. I had a manager that used to I worked at a company doing what I do, but where they wanted me to be at my desk at a specific time, and there was why. It didn't matter. So 10, 15 minutes late, you'd hear it. And I remember I was driving to that job. This was more than 10 years ago. and I was stuck in traffic because it's Los Angeles, and I was so angry. I was pounding on the steering wheel, hurting my hand, and I was just hyperventilating, sweating, stressed. And I never wanted to put anybody that works for me in that position. So when I started at the world's largest ticketing company, the team there had it was a large team. I had like 34 people there at the time. They had a hard start time, but they had things that were loaded into their queues at a very specific time in the morning, and then they were going to be there all day. There was not going to go up. It wasn't going to go down. They were going to be there all day. There was no time constraint because chargebacks, as long as you get it done in a certain amount of time frame, which is 18 to 30 days, it's fine. Don't get behind. But I was like, we don't need these people here at 9 o'clock in the morning. If they are here at 9:15, 9:30, let's say they got to drop their kids off, they can't get here till 10, I'm fine with that. And that was like one of the first things I did. And the stress level dropped in the room. Like you could feel it.
No,
that when people were just able to come and go.
It's so simple sometimes. What many steps you could take towards like generating a better, healthier, less stress environment, even if it's a high stress job. Like handling fraud can be challenging.
Yeah, because like when you're wrong, and you could it's a tangible thing that you can see money leaving. Yeah. And then like when I do like and even like my directs like that I have now that are handle like the overall rules of what the fraud things have to do, like the criteria, like when we're wrong. Like it's not $10, it's not $20, it's $1 million, Yeah. So these things matter. But now, but when it comes down to the chargebacks, like their mistakes are $20 to $100, $1,000 here and there, depending on what the product are. So it's a little less stress as it goes up the rungs, But it's just like, the old school manager was like you managed to be an asshole almost, and. You manage to be a friend is the wrong word, but I want to put myself on the same level as these people. Just because I have a title doesn't mean that I'm more important than them. Absolutely. And this is where I think like with where I was going with this was with the other manager. He would take his staff's success and try to pretend it was his own success, which a manager's job in the modern world is to show off their team, because when their people succeed, it makes them look like a successful manager. So I'm really good about when we do a project or we uncover like a fraud ring or something like that, I always name drop the person that found it or the person that solved it, and then especially as like sort of people's.
It costs nothing for you to do
that.
And
it doesn't make me look bad when I'm in front of my CFO giving a presentation.
Why the opposite?
And I say, someone on your team. I say, Steve did this or Abby did this. Like it doesn't make it look like I suck and I didn't find it. Like
it's your team. It happened in your team. Yeah.
And then they get shown off for their skills. And I will say, like, people don't usually quit working for me. They do sometimes, but they don't usually, because this type of management style isn't going to work for everybody. I'm not saying I'm the best manager in the world, but I say that I'm a little more empathetic with my staff than I think a lot of old school managers are. And it makes for a little bit more of a comfortable environment where people are a little more willing to be their authentic selves, which goes a lot further in trust. People aren't scared to tell me things.
All right,
like
I have
personal
a question.
work,
I
all
have a
that.
question.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, would you hire people? Do you expect them to go against you or like have different opinions or bring new things to the table?
Yes and no. Yes and no. So that's an excellent question, because I think that if you hire yes men, you're a bad manager.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if you hire someone, you hire them for their opinion, for their voice, for their experience. Yeah.
It's going to sound counterintuitive, but I always hire for cultural fit over knowledge at the end of the day. Because knowledge can be taught, can be learned, but cultural fit, that's a lot harder. Mm-hmm. So people that are going to, we've hired 2 key positions in probably the last 2 years that we didn't expect to hire. Because my team's been pretty stable for 3-4 years. There's been the same people on there. And so I remember when we were going through the beginning of this interview process, my very first thing was, I do not want this person to disrupt my team. My normal day-to-day team, I do not want this person to be any and if there's any sort of disruption, we're going to need to go a different direction. So when we're going through this interview process and all the people that they're meeting, was more so, are they going to fit in than what are they expert level knowledge? Because I can work on the expert level knowledge. I could give them the resources to do that. I can even help them and hold their hand through some of these things. So I wanted them to be a cultural fit. But at the same time, I always think like I know a lot because I've been in this space for so long, but it's a rapidly changing space. Yeah. So I love, I just hired a new girl to run my chargebacks department. And I was saying all these dates. She's like, actually, it's not that anymore. And like, that's what I hired her to do, at the end of the day. And I don't want to get mad because I think that, again, come back to that other manager, is he would take his team's success as his own success and not give attribution, but also at the same time, if anybody goes against him, he sees it as combative and marks them down for it. When it's like, I mean, it could be approach. I don't know. I'm not in the room on those conversations, so it could be how they're saying it. I let my team have a little more, little less nuance in their conversation, be a little more direct with me, just because that's like, I'm very much of this generation where like, get to the point,
that's
get to the point.
That's also you're that type of person. Like, I mean, I've known you for a year now. Like I know that you are give it to me straight kind of guy. I'll give it to you straight.
Yeah, because I don't want to hear like like the old thing. You want to hear the good news or the bad news? I just want to hear the fucking news. Just tell me the news.
I've read a book. I started a sales career recently, and I've read a book that I really like, which is called.
Sounds terrible.
The book doesn't call something. It's called "Let's Get Real" or "Let's Not Play." Which what I love about it is that it says that even when you're trying to sell something, the most important thing when you talk to the people you're trying to sell to is not to sugarcoat anything, not to add fluff. Let's get real. Let's talk about what needs to get done for this to make sense. And this is the only thing that matters. And I think, to me, everything in life is sales. You're always running an agenda of some sort, whether it's in your company. I guess
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, because like I did years ago. I did this. There's a consultant named Robert Fritz. He does like these workshops. He's a manager guy, like teaches you how to have a management style. I mean, I take the pieces that I like, like all the management books I read, like
for sure.
All those sorts.
If you learn
take
one
the
thing,
pieces that work. Yeah, it's I don't. There are some companies that like expect you to do that, and that's the only way to do it. And I can't work in those sorts of. Again, I'm not a cultural fit. I'm not a cultural.
But augment your style. Yeah.
So Robert Fritz had this whole thing where it was like management stuff, but he also had a creative side. So there was like he was big into the arts, big into video, audio, music, loved the Eagles, loved the Beatles. You guys would be BFFs. But one of the things that he did was, he called it structural tension. So it was basically a way to achieve goals. So in basically all areas of your life, you're operating in these charts that was like, here's where you want to go. And then in the bottom is your current reality. And that was really important, was to define where you really are. And it doesn't matter if you're trying to like paint a painting, if you're trying to do a project at work, if you're trying to get a new car. You have to define where your current reality is and what's your goal. And then in the middle, you fill in these little steps that you like little wins to get there.
And some steps could be big because maybe you've done these steps before. So you know how to do it. Like
because if I have like, let's say I want to pay off my car. So my current reality is I owe $14,000 on my car. And then, so what's your next step is, well, how much money do I have in my bank account? Do I have a savings, blah, blah, blah. And then all the way up to like, I got to sell myself on OnlyFans to make my 14 grand, whatever it may be.
Which you do, by the way. Jordan's handle is of.mountor.
Look, you got to find it. You got to search. Actually, you can't search on OnlyFans. I didn't know that until I watched an interview with the creator. She made it so like it's not. They don't show you adjacent content, so you could tell I don't have an OnlyFans account. They didn't want like a stumble upon, and they didn't want like
so you can define
like
it
searching
as a content creator, which is a nice word for it. You can define to not be searchable, and like that's
no. Like, so it's not. It's like you can't just be like I want a blonde chick because they didn't want it to be like a porn site like that. Like like you have to know like the handles or be set there in some way. So it's more it's less organic, and there's not
it's a platform.
You can't go into categories essentially.
I understand.
I was wondering why my feet pictures weren't taken off. But I just
I was looking Jordan.
Maybe I need to clip my toenails.
I couldn't. That's good. I mean,
I probably need to clip my toenails.
Some people are into that. They'd be surprised.
Hey, that's what I was hoping for. Like what's it, Cherie Richardson or whatever, the runner?
I don't know.
Like she's got the nails. It works for her. Why can't it work for me? But yeah, no, I think so. One of the things, like we're trying to be more honest and authentic on this. One of the things that I am passionate about is I do love being a people leader at my job. I love watching people grow, and I love watching people make, and especially after I leave companies and watching people have continued success. So finding those key players and making sure that they're put in front, because a lot of how you build loyalty with your staff people is just showing them off. Showing off them, it doesn't even have to be a big win, it has to be a little win, and showing them off, but also asking them, like I have employees that like they don't want to be on those presentations. They don't want to lead those presentations.
Sure.
So what we do is we find the people that want to, and they talk about it, but they still call them out, attribute them. Yes, that this is their stuff.
So as in sales, you are very much I'm one player. I run a lot of different projects and I have a lot of collaborators. To me, the best way to make sure I will continue to get support from those other teams is to continuously show them off, call them out. Someone does something good. I have a good piece of content someone generates for me. I send an email to the CEO. Look what great job this person did. They've helped me so much in plowing through this.
And it also and even behind the
doesn't
scenes,
cost me anything.
Nothing. And then, maybe when a company has to go through a difficult time and there's a downsizing and that chart's being looked at, and you're not in the room and they're like, oh, I remember so-and-so did this good thing then. You could save their career, maybe.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're working, I'm not sure how big your company is, but let's say we're around 700 people, and having people in leadership know your name and to associate it with, oh, they did something good. I remember a call. I remember I remember that shout out. Yes, that changes everything for people. And again, it cost me nothing. Even more so, I'll tell you, even if it would cost me something to send people a nice bottle of wine after they help me, that you earn a relationship for life.
It's something that I don't take lightly too. Is I do have a certain amount of power over if somebody can eat tonight or not. And that's not something to take lightly. Yeah. And I think that some managers, especially managers that just thrive on power, they don't think about that. They don't give a shit. They just want the power. I could fire you tomorrow if I want, they say. They'll go into the room. I'll give you a bad review. Doesn't matter. I'll fire you if I want because that's what I can do. And that's the power. First of all, creating fear never creates loyalty.
Never.
That employee will talk shit about your back. Even people talk shit about behind my back. It's fine. But at least I tried. At least I tried to do right by them. But especially during COVID, when I worked for the world's largest ticketing company during COVID, there was no sales, and I had a large team, and it was a team that people made a couple of dollars on, and Fortunately, I did not have to make those difficult decisions, but I was prepared to have those and know that these people are going to struggle right now because of the way that the market is and to get food. And it's something that's stressful.
I have to say
it's stressful.
That specifically in the US, you guys, the way you do healthcare here is insane. If you're firing someone,
get your Cobra, man. Get your Cobra. Pay $8,000 a month for healthcare.
And then it's only 20% because the other one is Cobra. But that's the thing. If you fire someone, if someone loses their job, it most likely means that they're losing health insurance coverage. They're losing all sorts of benefits. I am now a permanent resident. I have my green card. But up until a few years ago, I was afraid if I lose my job, I need to go back to where I come from. There's a lot
of that socialism back where you're from, right?
Yeah. Free healthcare and rockets firing up every other day. Yeah.
You got to take the good with the bad, right?
Absolutely. As you said, try to get deeper. This is real life, impact you have on people, and knowing that you.
And I give people a lot of rope, a lot of rope for them to correct their actions. I'm very honest. Hey, I need you to do better about this. I also have pretty clear expectations. That I think that's another thing that managers struggle with is they're kind of ambiguous on their asks.
Yeah,
and that can hurt. Because the person doesn't know what to do with that conversation or what to do next. And I always have a thing is I'm really big on time. So I want people to be on time to my meetings. If you're 1 minute late, I'm going to call you out because the time is everything.
For the record, whenever I have a meeting with you or these recordings, I try to be there 5 minutes early because I want to be there when you join.
That 5 minutes. I like that 5. Yeah, I like it. Well, time is money at the end of the day, and I think when people, especially other teams, it shows respect. And I got on we have these brand new contractors that joined us, supposed to be regional marketing, and they booked all these meetings, urgent meetings with my team, and then they didn't bother to show up, and I went nuclear on them about expectations and time, and how you can't be pulling my team and even myself to have a meeting that you're not even going to show up because it's disrespectful. You disrespected us, and it was a whole thing that I went on. And then they were late to the next meeting, and I was like, don't ever book a meeting with me ever again. I was like, you can send it over an email, and if you can't figure it out over email, the conversation doesn't need to happen anymore. But it's just it's a waste of my team's time for someone that clearly doesn't respect their time.
Yeah.
And then their numbers were wrong anyway, so it was a waste.
And what I think is, and I've known you again for quite some time. I think you are very much an organized person. You have your own organization.
My day is down pretty,
to the
pretty
minute.
like I have time. Yeah.
But it's your day, but it's also your expectation of your team. So if you have an idea of what needs to happen, you can very, very good like describe it to someone else and just do it. And that how they get there doesn't matter. Yeah.
2 points in there is exactly. So I tell my team, if I tell you like I want a task done and I don't give you a time, like a deadline, that means get it done when you can. But if I say I need this report, I need it by Friday, that's an urgent. So if I put like a deadline on something, that's the urgent in the order that the deadline, that's like the urgency that I need things to be done. Now, what I always tell my people is if I give you a project and you don't know where to begin, don't be scared to say, where should I start? Like I had somebody that I asked for a report and they were scared and they were trying to pretend like they knew what was going on because I thought I'd be mad at them, which I don't know why, because I'd never been mad at them before. I got mad at them over this, but they didn't even know where to begin. So the Friday deadline came around and they hadn't even started. And the guy's like, well, I didn't know where to begin. And I was like, you know what I would have done? I would have asked me, or I would have just called the payment processor and asked them.
Yeah.
It would have been like the first thing that I would have done second that I gave you the project.
One important thing I learned in life is when you're talking to your manager, I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to tell a real life story.
Real life story.
When I started working for my current employer, which was a decade ago, or one of the co-founders was no longer in the company, was the chief analyst back then. And he had monthlies with all of the analysts. We were a tiny company. It made sense. He had like 20 or 30 people to have like monthlies with. And on my first monthly, I came to him and he asked me what. For those who don't know, we are a fraud payments provider. We serve a lot of different merchants and retailers. So he asked, who are the merchants you're in charge of? I gave him a name of a few. And then he said, what's merchant A performance? Like, what are the calendars? And I said, I know, I can check. And he said, you not knowing it, coming to talk to me, it means you're not doing your job. And I was like struck. I'm like, what the hell this guy wants? Like, yeah, I can check it. It's in the dashboard. I can check it. Is that what you want to go and check it? But then I meddled it with this like in a month. The next time I went to him, I just 5 minutes before opened the dashboard, wrote down all of the performance metrics of all the merchants I'm in charge of. He came in from behind me. I saw him seeing my notebook and he asked me, what are you working on? I gave him like a 2-minute spiel and he said, you're doing a great job. And he walked out. That was it. That was it. Just show up, be ready.
Yeah.
Take a stab at it. Make sure you got your, like it's,
yeah.
Because my job at this point was not to know something. My job was to come prepared to a meeting with one of the co-founders of the company.
And I think that's a great lesson too, is is like know what you're supposed to be doing. Like I said earlier, I don't expect everybody to know everything. That's some of the things and I'll never be like, if you don't know something, be like, oh, you don't know that? Come on, you're stupid. Like, it's just like, hey, like,
ask me 1,000 stupid questions and don't do something stupid.
Because maybe I assumed that you knew it, and you didn't. And then you just asked me, and I'd be like, oh shit, let's take a step back. Like it takes me 2 seconds to take a step back and explain something.
And another lesson from your story, I think it's really important to take a stab at things. You were assigned a project, you don't know what to do. Do something. You know what? Write a plan on a piece of paper. Go to your boss. Says, here's what I have. Am I thinking about it correctly?
That's exactly it. Yes. Before you try and deliver a polished project that you think is what they're asking for, show your progress. Be like, hey, am I on the right track? Am I doing the right thing? Because I love my staff, and some of them are thorough and ambitious. And I'm like, help me create this thing that tells our story, over the last quarter. And then they will write 6 slides of blah blah blah. And I'm like, guys, I'm talking 1 slide. Like one single slide that tells a story, just condense all this down because they want to do great, and I love them for that. But sometimes if you just check in the middle, I'll say, don't spend your time going down that path because it's completely unnecessary. Like, let's just simplify it because you got to know your audience, on some things. It's like my CFO doesn't need to know individual, specific things. He just wants to know, how many chargebacks did we get? How many did we win? How many did we lose?
Is it working,
how much money can I count on?
Yeah.
Where were we at last quarter? Where are we at now?
We're talking a lot about work-related stuff, which obviously is a lot of our day-to-day. But I think this attitude, even in personal life, could be like if you're working on a project of your own, whatever.
I run my house like this.
Yeah, you take a stab at things. You try things. You run it with your partner. You run it with your banker. You're like, you just, let's see, can that work? I go to my account once a year. Like, hey, can this work? No, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
I do check in with my accountant too. I'm trying to write off some things and being like, that's totally cool, right?
Why not?
And half the time she's
Why
like,
not?
nah, it's not cool.
And if they say it is, then honestly,
Yeah.
if they say it is,
or she'll be like, she's like, it's not. But if you change the word and called it janitorial,
that's also
then
fine.
it
But the
is.
thing is, if the IRS come after you, you can always say, I was working on the advice was given by a professional.
I always just say, I'm sorry, I didn't know I couldn't do that, Mr. IRS officer. I will not do that again going forward.
I also think that the type of money you get to play around with does not warrant an FBI investigation. But in the cases that
it's getting there, though. It's getting there. More people need to listen to this show. More people need to listen to this show. Let's get it there.
That's very good. There's this new Al Capone of the OC. But if you were making that type of money and your accountant would have told you one or two things that are okay, you could have used that in your defense.
And she's pretty good about being like, all right, you can only make X amount more dollars, otherwise you're gonna have to do this and that and everything, you know. But you know, so I my car's paid off now, and I was thinking like next year, depending on how these shows go, I might have to get a new Section 179 vehicle, which normally people just go buy the G-Wagon. I'm not a G-Wagon guy. Mm-hmm. Coincidentally enough, I didn't know it at the time, but my car actually qualifies for that by like 200 pounds. But I do want the new Mercedes GLS. And they have a really good deal on them right now. It's like 0.99% interest. Like,
I will say, we do have a Patreon site for this podcast. If someone wants to buy Jordan and Mercedes,
I got to get better at posting on the Patreon on there for a value. It's only $5 a month, folks. For as little as $5 a month, you get extra content
and the opportunity to buy Jordan and a Mercedes.
I will post my feet pictures on there.
Yeah,
for $5 a month,
as long as the nails are not clipped.
I'm not kidding. I gotta do that.
Yeah,
shit today.
but maybe that'll be the extra content. We can show how we clip on it. I guess a lot of people will enjoy that. Well, what else have been going on for you the past 2 weeks? So you hosted the podcast. You went to the ball game yesterday. Well, what else on your?
Yeah, I mean, we had to skip the concerts in the park last week because like I was just gassed after 2 weeks of like going on site at work, then doing the payments ed, all the stuff. Because I went to another Angels game at payments ed too with some of the heavy hitters from our industry. You know, a lot of them. And then it just was gas, so I had to take a break. But then doing this HVAC thing, like this is a big project. Like this is a lot.
Sounds like
and I was trying to kick the can down the road like so far because it was the only list of things that like my home inspection guy was like, you're probably gonna have to do that. He's like, it's fine now. You're probably gonna have to do it. It was like an old R22 AC. What they don't even it's not even like legal to sell that product anymore here in California. I don't think.
So you have I mean, I know the US are not super good on like ACs. I know in New York we still have like weekly units, which is
so. Yeah, like that sounds super efficient.
Central one, or
so I have central air in this house, and this is a good story to wrap up on. Central air in this house.
Wait, do we not have a quiz? Did you not make a quiz today?
No, and I did not bring a quiz today. We're just doing real talk on management.
Shame on you.
I know we can't do a quiz every day. Come on.
I mean, I thought that's the.
They say you can turn this into the damn Bridges and Beaches like game show here. Like we can't do that.
That is my only goal in life, to make everything into a game show. You know that.
Yeah, sequins jackets for everybody. Jordan Barker over here, but
you need to grow a stash before October.
That's it. What's the Doriel Carey, Jordan Barker over here?
Right, yeah. Doriel Trebek. Thank you, though.
All right, so let's talk about this AC for a second, and then we'll wrap this up. So,
yes,
unit was from 1998. I thought it was from 92. It's from 98. My power bill was over $600 a month, and so the thing was, I was like, I could buy new HVAC for like 30 grand, or I could buy solar panels for 33 grand and then not worry about it, just use as much energy as I wanted. Because it needed a new furnace, like I said earlier, like I had to get a new furnace. Furnace was old too, which is gas, so it was super efficient, but I'm talking all this shit was from the 90s. And the power just kept going up, and it finally was not blowing as cold as it used to, and it was running a lot. So I was like, bro, let's just get it doing. So it's central air, and it had asbestos ducts, and everybody keeps saying I got to get rid of the asbestos ducts. Now it's wrapped. It wasn't like blowing asbestos in the house. It was like wrapped in it. So I had to have the abatement company. Yeah, abatement company had to come yesterday morning at like 7 a.m., sealed off the house, ripped it all out of there, and then now they're going to redo it. So they're probably almost done with new ducts. And it is a new central unit. It's a slimline unit.
So you didn't go with the solar panels?
I canceled the solar panels after it because the monthly cost on the purchase, not a lease, I was going to do a purchase, not a lease. It was Tesla with Powerwall and all that, was going to be more than what my now projected power bill is going to be on the hottest month of the year. So like normally my power bill probably is going to be like $1.20 to $1.
So like it pays off if it's like your forever house and you're like that.
Yeah, and I definitely am not going to be here for 15 years. Like when this house hits $2 million, goodbye. Like I'm out.
As long as the market.
Well, as long as
it reminded me of a story, but I think there was like this this scam artist. I think early days of eBay. I want to say he sold solar powered clothes dryer, and people bought it, and then when they got it, it was just like wrapped up clotheslines.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah. It's like the old which he's not wrong.
No, that's absolutely what it is. It's just funny.
Yeah. No, it's like I wouldn't mind having a solar panel, especially the battery backup. I think I like the idea of solar panels. I just think that, first of all, like the tariffs that are on them right now is kind of crazy, so it's making them really expensive. Then we're losing the solar credit, which I would have qualified for that, but it wasn't going to be enough at the end of the day, because I really wanted a really robust system so I could have the cars and all that, because I have the pool. The pool takes a little bit of energy. It's like 1.5 kilowatts an hour or something. And, yeah.
So wait,
in the winter, the pool is 50% of my energy. In the winter,
okay. Wow.
And it runs for 7 hours a day.
Is it heated?
I have solar mats that I installed that heat the pool, but that's just water pumping through. So it's just part of the circuit. It was expensive, but it's not like a recurring cost. It was a one-time thing, and the water just pumps through it. So the water in that pool right now is probably 93 degrees. And it's perfect, dude. It's like walking into a bathtub. It's amazing.
This is nice.
People are like, it's too hot because it's hot. You're supposed to be refreshing. No, come out here, go in that water. You'll be like, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. So, yeah. Well, I think we should wrap that one up for the day, because it's getting to be hot out here, and my camera is probably going to overheat at some point.
I'm looking at I just saw like the pool. I just focused on the pool behind you, and that looks like a really nice pool, man.
It's deep. It's got the beach entry, hot tubs over here. I don't know if it's in frame because I'm a little scrunched on the screen. But I'll do more out here. I'll do more. I'm going to start moving around in the house so we have a different background, so it's a little more interesting. You know,
I could do that too maybe sometimes. I mean, first of all, end of the month we're going to do a couple of episodes in your studio.
Yeah, which will be good. That'll be good. So we got like one more that we're going to do here, and then we'll do a couple in there.
Two more here and a couple there.
Yeah.
And maybe we can do one in San Antonio as well. I can think about it.
Maybe I would like to bring a camera. I don't know about all three because it takes a lot. Because I got to bring like the tripods. It'd be like a whole, like even my road kit that I brought when I did the show live in New York a couple years ago. I didn't even have these mini cameras.
No,
like
it's a schlep. It's like you need another.
Yeah, and like now, like the tripods alone are huge. So yeah, we'll figure it out.
We will.
All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.